In this video, I want to share 7 signs that you lack emotional intelligence and how you can fix this. Let me establish what emotional intelligence is. Being emotionally intelligent means that you are aware of your emotional state, but you're also aware of the emotional state of those around you. It means you have a high level of awareness. You understand how you're feeling at any given moment, and you kind of notice how other people are feeling too. You can read body language, nuances, and things like that. All right. And this really helps to improve your relationships. Okay. So I want to highlight 7 signs that you lack it and how you can start working on this today. So the first sign that you lack emotional intelligence is that you always have to be right. You don't realize that your perspective is not the only perspective. Okay. And a lot of us get kind of trapped in our heads and trapped in our own mindset, and we can't see past ourselves. We think that how we think and how we see the world is the only way. And that's not true. It's not the only way. But in order to be able to free yourself from that mindset, from that way of thinking, you got to really start understanding that people come from their own walks of life. Everybody, all right? We're all a product of our upbringing, of our environment, of all the shit that we've experienced in our lives, okay? And that shapes how we see the world. So once you can understand that everyone is just looking through their lens, they are all looking through how the world has been shaped from their experience. Once you really understand that, you can start to really gain more acceptance for other people's perspective. Okay. And what's interesting about perspective and you having to always feel like you need to be right, the reason that you feel like you always have to be right is because you may feel that somebody else's perspective, how somebody else sees the world, is like a threat to you, that maybe your perspective is not right, and once you can really understand that how somebody else sees the world is not a threat, it's just their opinion, it's just their view. And once you can really start to kind of allow space for that to happen, this is going to allow you to become more emotionally intelligent. You start to hold space for people, their perspectives, their mindset for things, and you're not threatened by this. Okay. You're allowed to hold space for yourself. You can still have your own mindset, your own perspective, and you know how to have dialogue. You know how to converse about different things without taking it like it's an attack on you. All right. The second sign that you lack emotional intelligence is that you react impulsively. Now, this is something that I used to deal with when I would get triggered or when I felt defensive or misunderstood in a conversation, particularly with my exes. Okay, that's when I experienced a lot of this dynamic. Maybe you experience this too in your relationships. Leave me a comment. Let me know when you feel the most misunderstood. Is it like at work? Is it in your relationships with your partner? You know what I mean? Where you feel that sense of like they are just not getting me, you know? And that can cause you to react and say things that you don't mean and do things that you don't mean because you're feeling a sense of defensiveness. You're feeling attacked. It goes back to what I just said in the first one. Your perspective is being attacked. How you see the world is being attacked. You're like, how can this person not understand this? I love this person and they don't see me. And that can create a lot of internal friction within you. Okay. So if you react impulsively, if you just get pissed off and you just go from a 0 to 1,000, you want to start slowing down. Okay. Now this is not easy to do. Okay. I had to learn how to do this as well. What I mean is like you got to literally start slowing down the wheels in your head. Okay. Because when things happen, we start telling ourselves stories about what is happening in any given moment. Imagine your girl said something to you, all right, that just kind of hit you in a certain way. Hey, can you take out the trash? And that triggers you in a way where you're like, damn, I always take out the trash. Why is she mentioning this now? Matter of fact, I take out the trash and I do more. So you're getting defensive. You're kind of trying to protect your sense of self and things that you do rather than slowing down a bit, hearing what she's actually saying. Because she's probably saying something underneath you taking out the trash. All right. And again, this is like Jedi mind trick type stuff. This is like next level awareness and understanding of yourself. The better you understand yourself, the better you can handle how other people are coming at you and interacting with you. And you can keep yourself cool, calm, collected. All right. What I'm saying is, though, you want to start slowing down. All right. And how I had to learn how to start slowing down is I had to start meditating. Okay. And meditating allowed me to improve my ability to pause before I start reacting to things. So if somebody says some shit to you, you gotta be able to like slow down and pause and assess how that is hitting you inside. Because what I used to do is that shit used to hit me, and I used to just go from 0 to 100. Just respond, react, say something because I'm hurt in the moment, and I'm not taking that time. I'm not creating that space in between what they said to me and how I'm responding. I'm just going from what they said to boom, reaction. So you got to kind of like start to live within that space. And within that space, that's where you can really understand what's going on within yourself. That's where you can really start to do a self assessment. And what I mean by that is start asking yourself some questions. If somebody says some shit to you that's pissing you off, ask yourself, why is this pissing me off? Why is this bothering me so much? When's the last time I felt this before? When have I experienced this before and felt like this? Because this is some pain that I felt before and I don't like it. So you want to start getting curious about what is going on with you on that internal level. And the better you can start working this muscle, the better you will get at learning how to express yourself when you're pissed off. You'll get better at learning how to say, hey, I need a moment. I got to take a step away from this because this is not healthy or productive for me to respond to this in this moment. You'll start working those muscles. You'll start getting better at communication when you get agitated, when you get irritated. But it starts with you being able to learn how to slow down your responses to things. And to circle back around, meditation helped me with that. All right. Meditation is what teaches you to slow your mind down. And when you can slow your mind down, you start slowing down your responses. You start slowing down how quickly you need to respond. You don't need to respond so soon, so abruptly, so immediately. And this is a gift that you can give yourself once you really start to understand this. Learn to slow the hell down. Now, the third sign that you lack emotional intelligence is that you were disconnected from your emotions. Okay. Now, this is something that I think a lot of us men, people in general, but a lot of us men on a societal level, man, we're like taught and told that we need to disconnect from our emotions. I don't believe that. What I believe is that you need to learn how to work with your emotions. Your emotions are nothing but signals and data and feedback, and it's letting you know about how a situation is truly like affecting you, and your body will tell you because you'll start to feel shit. You start to feel warm. You start to feel activated. You start to feel different things in your body that is trying to let you know that, hey, I don't feel safe in this situation. Hey, I don't feel hurt. And I don't mean safe like physical safety. Maybe that might be part of it if you're in kind of a certain environment, but you might be like, I don't feel safe in this situation. You may feel like, I don't feel seen. I don't feel heard. I don't feel understood. And a lot of us, we're disconnected from that. Like I said, we go from 0 to 100 because we're disconnected from our emotions. So you really want to start reconnecting with your emotions. You really want to start developing a better relationship with your emotions and how it makes you feel. And the better you get at doing this and improving this muscle, because everything is building a muscle, the more control you will have over yourself and how you respond to things. Okay. Once you can tap back into how you feel at any given state, imagine somebody says something to you at your job, or they make a request of you. Hey, can you grab this? Hey, can you do that? And it might hit you in a way and be like, why are you asking me to do that in that particular way? You can say, please. Shit, you can say thank you and say somebody doesn't say please. Somebody doesn't say thank you. And it hits you in a way. And you feel like there's a lack of consideration in how they're speaking to you, right? And that drums up something in you. Most of us don't even feel when it drums up something in us. We just go from that person asked me to do something to now I'm pissed off and I don't even know why I'm pissed off. So you want to start becoming more aware and you want to start reconnecting with that emotional like transition. You see what I'm saying? Somebody says something, and then you're transitioning from like anger, sadness, happiness. Is doing something to you on an internal level. And the better you can start to put your spotlight on that, start shining the light on that, you can start to better understand, like, damn, that shit made me feel a certain way. Damn, that shit hit me in my soul on a certain level, man. I don't even know why. And the more you can start working this muscle, the more you can start improving this is going to allow you to really improve that emotional intelligence. This is what emotional intelligence is. It's going to allow you to improve your relationships with people. You're going to get better at communicating when something doesn't feel right to you. So it's really important to reconnect with your emotions. All right, the fourth sign that you lack emotional intelligence is that you can't take a joke. This is something that I used to kind of struggle with too. I used to take everything like really like literally. I remember one time I was at a restaurant. I was working at a restaurant. This was some years ago. And I used to feel like I was always this kind of witty type of dude that could always say something funny back. And now looking back on it, I wasn't that funny. I remember this girl said to me, she was like, we were all in the kitchen. We were kind of working, doing our thing. You know, it's like rush hour. It's busy. She said something to me like, Bryce, what you doing over there? And I said something like, I said, minding my business. What you doing? You know, and I remember feeling the reaction in the room where it was like one of those things where I thought it was kind of clever, funny, but it really wasn't. It was almost like, okay, all right, bro, like, why are you being so like straightforward and so like harsh with your response? Now, most people might be like, that wasn't even harsh, but the way the energy in the room kind of shifted, and I noticed like when you're emotionally intelligent, you are able to be playful with things. You're able to truly be witty and truly have banter game, so to speak, because you're aware of yourself, you're aware of your emotions, and you're aware of how when somebody says something to you, how it truly hits you. You know what I'm saying? Like when that girl asked me, what you doing over there? You know, it might have hit me in that moment where it's like I might have felt a sense of like, I'm working. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. What you doing? And I took it super like literally, logically, seriously. And I'm responding from that place. You know, and this might not be the best example. I'm hoping you're kind of following me on this. When you're emotionally intelligent, you can take a joke because you understand that you just understand you don't have to be so serious about things all the time. When you're coming from this place of seriousness, when you're coming from this place of, why'd you say that to me in that way? And you're always kind of on edge. You're always kind of ready for a quick response or rebuttal to something. You lack emotional intelligence. You're too wound up. You're too worried about how you're going to be perceived. You're too worried about what people are thinking about you in a moment. When you're emotionally intelligent, that starts to loosen up a little bit. That starts to like lose its grip on you so much, because when you become more emotionally intelligent, you realize that life isn't that serious. Stop taking it so yeah, we all got things we're dealing with in our lives and things that we need to worry about, responsibilities and stuff like that. But also, we're here to have a good time too. You're here to have some fun too. You don't always got to be the sharp tongued, witty, like make sure you're saying something that, you know, lights up the room. Like if you have that naturally and that ability, great. That's an awesome skill to have. But if you're a type of person who struggles with finding the humor, struggles with finding the playfulness in everyday conversation, you may lack emotional intelligence. You're taking things way too seriously. All right. I don't want to get too long winded on this one. Now, the fifth sign that you lack emotional intelligence is that you don't take accountability for your actions, for things that you've done. Somebody can say, you can be at your job and somebody can say, hey, who left this out? You know your ass left it out, but you got, oh, I left it out because I got busy and I didn't get a chance. And you're over explaining because you're getting defensive, because you feel like you're getting called out, as opposed to saying, oh yeah, I left that out, man. My apologies. I'll do better with that. That's taking accountability. That's how you speak when you know you've done something and you just own it. And the more you start working that muscle, you'll start to notice the more respect you get from people. When you start taking accountability, when you start owning your shit, you get more respect. Don't run away from it. Don't run away from something that you've done, something that you've said. Own it. Lay into it. Step into it. And when you do that, you honor yourself. let me know if you've experienced any of that type of stuff, where you struggle taking responsibility, taking accountability, owning your shit. And if you do experience that, let me know why. Why do you struggle with that, you think? Leave me some comments and let me know. All right. But it's very important to learn to take accountability. This is a sign of emotional intelligence. And again, if you struggle with this, you really want to start working on this. Now, the sixth sign that you lack emotional intelligence is that you can't read the room. You ever meet somebody like this? You know what I'm saying? You having a conversation, or it's a social setting, and people are talking about certain things, and just this one individual, the way they respond to things, it's almost like, or they might not even be responding. They might say something, like say a joke that where you're like, bro, why are you talking about that here, bro? We had a funeral. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they can't read the room. It's like, bro, we're here at work. We're not at the bar. You know what I'm saying? Or there's a chick over there, bro. Why you talking about tits and ass and stuff, bro? You see the chick over here, bro? Like, calm it down. Like, that's what I'm saying. Being able to read the room. When you're emotionally intelligent, your awareness is heightened. Your ability to be able to read body language, read nuance, read people improves. It's like a comedian. When a comedian's on stage, they are very hyper attuned and hyper aware to the audience. I'm a big fan of Dave Chappelle. So when I remember seeing Dave Chappelle, and like he did some special on Netflix where he was in Texas, and it's funny as hell too. But he was making jokes that are like Texas related. He's adapting his comedy and his content to where he is. He's aware of the room that he's in. All right. So it's really important as an individual and improving your emotional intelligence to recognize the room that you're in, recognize the people that are around you. And it's not like you're suppressing who you are or shutting down who you are, but it's just being respectful. It's just going through life with a level of mindfulness. And the more you can improve this and work on this, you'll notice that people gravitate towards you more. You become more magnetic in a way because people realize that he gets it. He's not disrespectful or just blatantly derogatory and shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's really important to kind of start working that muscle as well. Start becoming aware of your surroundings and your environment. All right. If you're getting any value out of this video so far, please hit that like button so that this video reaches more people who enjoy this type of content. I really appreciate y'all watching this video to this point so far. All right. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you know when I make more content just like this. Now, for this last sign that you lack emotional intelligence, it's because you avoid uncomfortable conversations. All right. This is something that I had to work on too. And I really learned to work on this in like relationship dynamics. If you got a partner, you got a girl, you may realize sometimes that having them uncomfortable conversations, they don't feel too good. And you just want to kind of run away from them. Do we got to talk about this right now? But it's really important to understand that the more you build your emotional intelligence, the easier that those conversations will become. You don't have to run away from them. You can learn to lean into them. And there's a lot of growth that comes out of that. When you can learn to sit within that discomfort, say your girl say she bringing up something to you, something you did, learning to listen, learning to hear what the concern is, learning to sit within that, and like I said, none of this is easy to do. This is not easy to do, to sit within discomfort, but it gets easier the more you start practicing it. The more you work the muscle and build the muscle, you'll be able to sit in it. You'll be able to hear what she's saying to you. You're like, damn, babe, that does make sense. I'm sorry that I made you feel that way. You know what I'm saying? Come on, big girl, give me a hug. All right, I love you. And I'm being kind of, I'm being funny here right now, but you get better at just dealing with discomfort. This can happen in the workplace too. Somebody can say something to you, or hey, can we talk about something, or maybe we need to hash something out. And it's really important to like learn how to take a deep breath. You're not in danger. It may feel like you're in danger, that a conversation is like the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. And you got to start doing some things to make it not feel so much like it's the end of the world. I've heard some examples of like, when you get put in fight or flight, you feel like a saber-toothed tiger is coming after you, right? And what I'm talking about is just a conversation. You might feel like a saber-toothed tiger, like, oh, I don't want to do that. Just realize, you're safe. Just a conversation, all right? And take some deep breaths. Start to get used to what you feel in your body, like I was saying earlier. The better you can get at doing that, the better you will be able to sit within discomfort. That's where growth really is. Start challenging yourself a bit better. Learn to get to the other side of that discomfort and watch how much you grow. Again, if you enjoyed this video, man, please make sure you check out my playlist on emotional intelligence if this is something that you're into, if you are enjoying this type of content. Also, if you want to dive deeper into this, be sure to book a one-on-one call with me. I will leave the link in the description. I'll leave it in the pinned comments. I got a link to the Instagram. You can also just email me directly. And if you're somebody who's trying to improve your emotional intelligence, improve your emotional mastery, so that you have better control of yourself, so that you're not always on autopilot and just reacting to shit, then reach out to me, all right? And I will see y'all in the next video. Again, check out that playlist. I'm going to leave it floating, all right? And I'll see y'all there. Peace.